Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that was, until very recently, a complete secret. Samsung's very first tri-folding smartphone.
I mean, think about it. This is the big question Samsung seems to be asking with this wild new device, one that could totally change how we even think about the shape of a phone. So the first time we saw this thing, it was pure tech industry drama, right? They put it in this glass case, showed it from way off in the distance, and gave us zero details. It was the ultimate look, but definitely don't touch moment. All about building up that hype. But secrets like this don't last long. Thanks to a few YouTubers who managed to get right up close, we've got actual footage now that lets us start piecing this whole puzzle together. This is really our first good look at it outside of that pristine glass box. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll look at this secret trifold, break down how it actually works, dive into the specs we can see how it stacks up against the competition, and then ask the really big question. Is this where phones are headed? All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this thing actually work? I mean, it's one thing to hear about a trifold phone, but seeing the mechanics of it, that's something else entirely. Okay, get this. When this device is completely unfolded, the main screen is a massive 10 inches. And just to put that in perspective, we're not just talking about a big phone screen. We are deep into tablet territory here. So the key thing to wrap your head around is the design itself. This isn't like a Galaxy Z Fold with one hinge. No, this thing has two separate hinges, which is what allows one single continuous screen to fold up into 3 panels. And here's where it gets really clever. Both of those folds go inward. So what does that mean? It means when the device is all closed up, that huge, delicate 10-inch screen is completely protected on the inside. No scratches, no scuffs, it's totally shielded. Now, this is a major difference when you compare it to its only real rival right now, the Huawei Mate X-T Ultimate. See, that device folds both inward and outward, which leaves a part of the main screen always exposed. Samsung's approach here is clearly all about protection. So you might be wondering, how does it stack so neatly? Well, it's all in those 2 hinges. The first hinge makes a really tight fold, a short radius, but the second hinge has to fold over that already folded part, so it has a longer, wider radius. It's this smart bit of engineering that lets the 3 panels just lay flat on top of each other. Okay, so we know how it folds. But what kind of hardware did Samsung actually manage to squeeze into this totally new design? Let's take a closer look. What's so cool is that you really are getting 2 different experiences. On the outside, you've got a 6.5-inch cover screen, about the size of a normal smartphone. And then you unfold it to get that huge 10-inch display for a real tablet experience. Now, that camera on the back, it looks pretty familiar, right? Well, the word is that they've basically lifted it straight from the upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7. That means you're likely getting an absolute powerhouse of a camera setup, a 200-megapixel main sensor, an ultrawide, and a telephoto. So no compromises there. And yeah, it is packed with other top-tier features. There's a selfie camera on the outside screen and another one on the inside screen, both with that modern punch hole look. We can also see a speaker up top and what looks like 3 microphones for really clear audio. So with all this brand new tech, how does the trifold actually measure up against what's already out there? Here's a bit of a surprise. When it's fully opened up in that 10-inch tablet mode, it actually looks thinner than the Galaxy Z Fold 7. That's a pretty amazing feat of engineering, especially when you remember there's a whole extra panel and hinge in there. But you can't cheat physics. The trade-off for that third panel is that when it's all folded up and ready for your pocket, it is noticeably thicker than a Z Fold 7. You're basically trading a little bit of pocket slimness for that giant screen. Now, one thing people have noticed from these early videos is the bezels. The black borders around the screens. They do look a bit on the thick side, maybe thicker than what we're used to on current phones, but honestly, that's not a huge shock for a first-gen device like this. It's probably something Samsung will slim down over time. All right, let's zoom out and think about the big picture. What does a trifolding phone actually mean for the future? Is this just a cool niche product, or is this the start of a whole new category of device? You can really see the core trade-off here, can't you? This thing absolutely maximizes screen size like nothing else. But that comes at a cost to pocketability when it's closed, and of course, it adds a whole new level of mechanical complexity with that second hinge. So the whole idea, the big promise of the TriFold, is to finally truly merge a high-end phone and a big screen tablet into one single device that you can carry around. It's trying to be the ultimate all-in-one gadget.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question. As we keep pushing the boundaries of what a phone can be, we really have to ask ourselves, is more screen always better? The answer to that is probably going to define the next decade of phone design.